Hey everyone, thanks for joining us on our new adventure where 3 beginner homesteaders are starting a brand new orchard.
We don't know what we're doing, but we're gonna learn and we're gonna have fun with it.
So stick around for the series and enjoy the episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to Dragonfly Projects and Homestead. My name is Alex, and this is the future orchard site. Yesterday, my sister and my dad came and gave me a huge help. There were a lot of birch and aspen that got damaged by the windstorms last year and the recent ice storm we've had two weeks ago. You can see in the background over there what it looks like when they're damaged. They start bending, they start cracking, and it doesn't take much to send them over, that they eventually will have to come down. We've just been working our way from the entrance, and everything that's been affected or damaged, we were cutting down and putting on the burn piles. We got a good chunk done yesterday. It did take a lot longer than I thought. You can see there's some remnants of burn piles on both sides here. I don't know if because it was still somewhat wet. The snow only melted maybe 4 or 5 days ago completely. The top was dry, but the bottom might still be a little wet. So only the small branches and leaves really burnt. I mean, it's better than nothing, but I was hoping that it would definitely burn more than this. Perhaps I'll try to, next weekend, try to light it again on fire and see what kind of results we can get from that, so I can eventually get rid of those piles and get started on the layout, which is why I brought my measuring tape. I'm gonna start measuring a couple distances. I'm gonna throw the drone in the air, see what kind of surface area we have to work with to try and figure out my spacing. I think I want to go 4 meters between rows, and then I'm not sure if I want to go 4 meters or 3 meters between trees. I know this year we will only plant 3 trees. Everything I'm doing right now is based off Stefan Sobkowiak's work from the Permaculture Orchard. I'll link his channel in the video description. Basically, he works in trios. So we have a nitrogen fixing tree, we have a fruit tree, and a fruit or nut tree afterwards. So 3 trees. A nitrogen fixer, in my case, I'm going to start with some honey locust and some black locust, and then either an apple, a pear, a plum, or a nut tree. We're going to start with 2 trios, which means 6 trees. I'm going to figure out where I want them, how it's going to be, what kind of layout, what kind of spacing I want, where would I want, because eventually I want to have a U-pick orchard. So where would I want the entrance? Where do I want the traffic to go? To your left is the Christmas tree farm, so I have to keep access to that. So I don't want to plant anything that would impede access to the Christmas tree farm. It's nice because it would be the same access for the orchard or for the Christmas tree for the visitors. I want to make sure that I don't put the entrance right where my neighbor's entrance is. I'm going to try to space that so it's a bit nicer for them. I'm going to see how far back I want to go. At the back where you see that big, still standing intact Scotch pine, past that, the soil seems to be a bit lesser quality because only grass really grows there, versus here where it's full of grass, basically all types of plants. I call them weeds, stuff that's not really what I want. There's also a lot of tree stumps that just wreak havoc on my brush cutter on the back of the tractor. So yay, I've got a stump grinder now. The only thing is it's kind of wet still to bring the tractor here and start cutting everything and grinding everything. So I'm going to wait for the soil to dry a bit more, because I don't want to compact the soil too much when it's this wet. Running it back and forth with the tractor is not good for the soil. So today, measuring, taking some pictures from the air, and then using that information, I'll try to lay down a plan and figure out how I want to space the orchard. Let's get started. All right, let's see how this goes. You know when you have dreams and you finally got all your ducks lined up in a row and you can finally start on those dreams? That is the best feeling in the world, I'm not gonna lie. Some planes in the sky. So I have the drone overhead. Hello. I'm gonna be moving back. Let's see how wide. See how wide the orchard is, or can be. I will for sure start in the middle of the orchard, giving me time to work on cutting down. I want to try to be perpendicular to the street as much as I can. So hopefully I am somewhat in a straight line, a straight 90-degree from the street. So right now, this is 170 feet. 170. That's the width. Chipping the wood kind of just accelerates the decomposition aspect. So you're helping Mother Nature along. It's great for weed control. It's natural fertilizer. There's so many advantages to wood chips that I'm finding. And I've been reading that the better wood chips you want are the ones that come from the branches more so than the trunk. So the stuff you buy at your home garden center or the place where you buy your plants, basically that's mostly trunk, and usually they dye it so it's fancy, has a nice color to it, but nutritional value not so great. And that's what you want to keep and put down on the ground. And that's what I would use as fertilizer, weed control, and returning nature to nature. So 236. So 236 to the Scotch pine and 282 to that small section of trees. After the Scotch pine, you can really see a decline in the diversity of the stuff on the ground. It's mostly just grass. No more little shrubs, no more weeds. Which leads me to believe that it's probably not as great as soil once you get closer to the street there. So the distance between the two brush piles is 48 feet. 48 feet between those brush piles. So I can use a picture from the drone as reference. So here's the other part where all the birches are. This used to be a strawberry field, and once it was abandoned, silver birch or gray birch loves full sun. It grows in open areas like this in fields that are abandoned, and it becomes a bit of a nuisance. They're not very resistant. It's not a great wood for anything. They don't grow that big. They usually die by the time they're about 30. And they tend to fall on things. The other thing is they're very susceptible to a mushroom. And once the mushroom hits, that tree dies. This one is missing its head. Oh, yeah. Look at this. So the mushroom got to it, and that one's dead now. So this is why I want to clear out all of the birch that I can. The good thing is I can use it as a heat source for the maple syrup because it burns very hot very quick. Makes a great flame, which is what we want, so things boil fast. But otherwise, not a species we want to promote on the property versus the pines. Lots of white pines in the area and lots of red maples, which is awesome. Those are the species we want to promote. On the aerial shot, if you look at the far right of the screen, there's a big white pine in the top right corner. That's probably as far as I want to go back there. But again, I'll start here. I'll see how difficult it is, how the soil is behaving, how well trees are taking. For the trio, the other thing that we're doing is every tree gets 2 shrubs, either berries. I got some seeds for some cranberries, some goji berries. I would love to purchase some raspberries, maybe blackberries, some blueberries, because Camille absolutely loves blueberries. And then every tree gets, give or take, 10 perennials. They can be vegetables. We have a lot of chives that I want to put in there, just flowers. We want to try to attract the pollinators so that they're going to cross-pollinate the trees. And this year, probably going to have 2 pears and 2 apples with a black locust and a honey locust to start. And then we'll see how well this fares. I'll decide where we're going to go, what the spacing is going to be, and I'm probably going to start dead center in the orchard so that I can work around that section. Burn piles, hit and miss. The problem is there's so many trees to clear that we're adding fresh wood to the burn piles. It doesn't burn very well. I don't want to use diesel to start the fire if I can avoid it, because 1, it's not good for the environment, and 2, it's freaking expensive these days. So the more I think about it, the more a wood chipper would make sense. Chip the wood, use it as fertilizer, weed control, so that nothing competes with the plants you're planting. I want to use it tune the Christmas tree farm, so I don't have to spray anything. I don't have to use weed killers. Just put the wood chips around the trees so that the weeds don't compete for the resources that the Christmas tree need. You can also use it in the garden, use it in the footpath and the trails. If you put it around the edge of the forest, ticks don't like to crawl across it because it becomes very dry, and ticks don't like that dry environment, so they tend to stay more in the forested part. So at least it's a bit safer if you're brushing against the foliage around that area. So there's just so many advantages to having wood chips. It's a great way to recycle the wood you're throwing away. And then the trunks and bigger pieces can be burnt, either for the maple syrup or eventually an external wood boiler. And then the branches can be used as fertilizer and returning the resources to the earth. There's also a big surprise that's gonna show up end of June. We're very excited for it. I'm not gonna say what it is, but stick around. End of June, big surprise. We're very excited. I'm gonna go back home now, do some math, look at the pictures, look at the aerial shots, figure out the spacing we're looking for. I feel like I'm better to have too big of a spacing than too narrow, especially when growing trees. I mean, I'm not doing this as a replacing my job type of thing. This is a fun project that is going to be a business. I do hope it makes money, but I am not expecting to live off of it. So if I have 50 less trees than the actual orchard could support, I don't think it's that big of a deal. As long as I'm happy, I enjoy the process, I enjoy working on it, collecting the fruits, literally, of our labor, and then make some money from it, I'll be extremely happy. If you guys like this video, please like, subscribe, share, comment. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.